Tensions across the Baltic region have escalated significantly after Polish military officials announced that their Patriot air defense systems were placed on high alert following the detection of Russian MiG-31 fighter jets reportedly armed with Kinzhal hypersonic missiles operating near the Baltic Sea. The flights, conducted in international airspace but dangerously close to NATO's eastern borders, have sparked alarm among regional powers, NATO officials, and military analysts, who see the maneuvers as a clear demonstration of Russia's expanding military capabilities and its willingness to flex its strategic assets in proximity to Allied territories. Polish defense authorities reported that multiple MiG-31 jets were observed conducting high-speed patrols, low-level approaches, and simulated strike runs over the Baltic, raising concerns over potential threats to both civilian and military infrastructure in the region. These aircraft, armed with the Kinzhal missile, a hypersonic weapon capable of reaching speeds up to Mach 10 and performing complex evasive maneuvers, pose a significant challenge to existing missile defense systems. The deployment of the Patriot systems by Poland underscores the seriousness of the situation, reflecting both a defensive measure and a strategic statement of deterrence, signaling to Moscow and the broader international community that Warsaw and NATO remain vigilant. The Kinzhal missile, developed as part of Russia's expanding hypersonic arsenal, represents a major shift in modern warfare dynamics. Unlike conventional missiles, the Kinzhal is capable of striking targets at ranges exceeding 2,000 kilometers with high precision and extremely short reaction times, while evading most existing air defense systems. Military analysts note that the combination of the MiG-31's speed and altitude capabilities with the Kinzhal's hypersonic velocity allows Russia to project power rapidly across significant distances, complicating NATO's defense planning and increasing regional security risks. The presence of such weaponry in the Baltic region, a strategic waterway bordered by NATO members including Poland, Lithuania, and Latvia, highlights the growing stakes in Eastern European security. NATO sources describe the flights as highly provocative, emphasizing that the alliance is closely monitoring Russian military activity to ensure readiness and coordination among member states. While Russian officials have maintained that the flights were routine training exercises, experts argue that repeated flights of this nature are designed to test the responsiveness of NATO air defenses, gather intelligence on radar and interception capabilities, and demonstrate Moscow's ability to strike at critical infrastructure or military targets in a region. The juxtaposition of routine claims with the strategic capabilities of the Kinzhal missile has led to heightened vigilance among NATO countries, with increased radar monitoring, interceptor readiness, and joint operational planning now standard practice along the eastern flank. Polish military spokespersons confirmed that while no violations of sovereign airspace occurred during the MiG-31 flights, the proximity and potential threat of hypersonic weaponry justified the activation of all relevant alert protocols. Patriot units were put on immediate standby, air surveillance radars were operating at full capacity, and rapid response teams were deployed to key positions across the region. Additionally, NATO's Integrated Air and Missile Defense Command has reportedly increased communication with Warsaw and other Baltic states, coordinating both intelligence sharing and contingency planning to counter any potential escalation. The flights also underscore broader geopolitical tensions in Eastern Europe, particularly in the context of Russia's ongoing military modernization and its strategic posturing near NATO borders. Since the annexation of Crimea in 2014, Russia has accelerated the development of advanced weaponry, including hypersonic missiles, next-generation fighter aircraft, and electronic warfare systems. Military experts argue that these capabilities are intended not only to strengthen Russia's deterrence posture but also to project power and influence over the Baltic and Black Sea regions. The presence of Kinzhal-equipped MiG-31s near NATO territories signals Moscow's continued interest in testing the alliance's defensive readiness and maintaining strategic leverage in regional security dynamics. The Baltic Sea, a historically sensitive and strategically critical region, serves as a vital corridor for maritime trade, energy transport, and military mobility. Any military activity in this area has the potential to affect multiple nations simultaneously, creating ripple effects across political, economic, and security spheres. NATO analysts have expressed concern that the persistent deployment of armed Russian jets, especially those carrying hypersonic weapons, could trigger miscalculations or unintentional confrontations if tensions are not carefully managed. In response, member states are reportedly considering enhanced air patrols, joint military exercises, and the potential deployment of additional missile defense assets in Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Poland. While Moscow insists that its military flights are lawful and conducted in accordance with international norms, the repeated nature of these missions, combined with the advanced capabilities of the Kinzhal missile, reinforces perceptions among neighboring countries that Russian actions are deliberately intended to intimidate and test regional defenses. Analysts also point out that such maneuvers send a strategic message beyond the immediate area, signaling to NATO and the West that Russia is capable of deploying cutting-edge military technology with little warning and with significant operational impact. Polish defense officials, NATO strategists, and regional analysts all agree that vigilance and preparedness remain critical. Patriot missile systems remain on high alert, air and sea surveillance operations are continuous, and rapid response teams are poised to act in the event of any escalation. Diplomats in Brussels, Warsaw, and Moscow are also closely monitoring the situation, attempting to balance deterrence with dialogue in order to prevent a potential security crisis. As the Baltic Sea continues to emerge as a focal point of military and geopolitical tensions, the flights of Kinzhal-armed MiG-31 jets highlight the evolving nature of modern warfare, where hypersonic weapons, rapid response systems, and strategic signaling intersect. The situation illustrates both the challenges and imperatives faced by NATO and its member states in maintaining regional security, managing Russian military assertiveness, and adapting to a rapidly shifting technological and strategic landscape. Analysts warn that repeated incidents of this nature could increase the risk of miscalculations, making sustained monitoring, preparedness, and diplomatic engagement critical to maintaining stability in the Baltic and across Europe.